It sure is a good time to be a fan of Nintendo games. I mean, not right now, because Nintendo haven't put out much information for what's coming up this year apart from a new trailer for new Pokemon Snap, but generally speaking, these past couple of years have been pretty spectacular for Nintendo and their video games, minus any terrible corporate stuff. At this point, it's safe to say that Nintendo know how to generate hype and excitement for their new releases, since some of the trailers and announcements they've put out recently have been so ridiculously good that I have to say something about them, otherwise I'll end up feeling like I'm the only one who truly appreciates some of these amazing videos. I did plan on making more of a general assessment of Nintendo trailers from the last 3 or 4 years and explain why they're so effective, but at some point I ended up rewatching the first Smash Bros. Ultimate trailer, and no, I need to spend some time talking about this because I don't think Nintendo have ever had a trailer work so well for them. It's nearly 3 years later, and Smash Bros. Ultimate has moved on to crazier trailers, but I don't know. As soon as I watched this again, it all came flooding back, just how amazing and important this trailer was. You better believe that I'm going to do some sharing. But before we dive right in, I need to establish how Nintendo got to this point in the first place, because this trailer owes a lot to the specific style of presentation found in Nintendo's Directs. These showcases came to life in 2011 as a simpler way of relaying information instead of loading up with announcements at E3, only to be lost among a sea of other headlines from other companies. Over time, Nintendo saw enough positives from Directs that they chose to skip out on large-scale press conferences from E3 2013 onwards in favour of these smaller presentations that they can unveil all year round as well as in June. This is an important bit of information because not only did it give Nintendo this extra gravitas that set them apart from their competitors, in a way that gave the spotlight to key personnel at the company, but honestly, I don't think Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS would have been as exciting if we didn't have these consistent updates. Its prequel, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, benefited immensely from the Smash Dojo, that was frequently updated with new features and the occasional earth-shattering character reveal like Sonic getting into the roster. But with Smash 4, it was the periodic Nintendo Directs that drip-fed information before release and blasted us with DLC after release. This is what I want to focus on for now, since you can sense Smash Bros. Developing a reputation for generating headlines roughly around the time that Cloud Strife wriggled his way into the character lineup, and by the time Nintendo were done with this game, it was one of the most exciting things that Nintendo had ever made. But that was part of the Wii U era, and as soon as everyone realized that it was a sinking ship, you could sense a desire to move on to the next big thing, regardless of how good or exciting Smash 4 was. The Wii U certainly has its qualities, but as soon as there were rumblings that Nintendo were ready to show off their new console, that's the only thing that people cared about. Certainly the Switch was different to what a lot of people expected, but it held a lot of potential for interesting video games and a unique way of playing those games. You can use a Nintendo home console while taking a monstrous dump, and I'm sorry, but that's the sign of progress. Those early game trailers for the Switch are some of the best that Nintendo have ever put out, with Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in particular hitting the exact right notes for onlookers to become engrossed in their respective worlds. And if this video was as broad as I first intended for it to be, you gotta know that I'd be talking about how the Breath of the Wild trailer from the Switch presentation rocks my soul and gives me life. Also, Mario as a T-Rex. That's some good shit. 2017 was a huge year for Nintendo, with impressive sales figures propped up by releasing some of the best games ever made, and by the time we got to the end of that year, we all gave Nintendo a standing ovation that lasted 2 hours for doing such a good job. We've got incredible new Zelda and Mario games, Splatoon got a sequel, we've got a new Pokemon and Metroid game on the way that will definitely come out within the next couple of years, yeah! Question is though, where's Smash Bros? It was arguably the biggest, highest profile game that Nintendo made for the Wii U, and if they did really well on a bad console, then could you imagine what kind of game we'd get now that they've got a successful console to work with? What an exciting prospect that may lie ahead in the future, who knows? But how soon? Since Nintendo only stopped updating Smash 4 in mid-July of 2017, so any chance of news in the near future seemed slim, but hey, you should come to expect the unexpected when it comes to this franchise. Good luck predicting it, you'll be made to look like a fool. The 8th of March 2018 was a day like any other. There was a gentle breeze in the air as birds chirped away in the background. The chill of winter was beginning to dissipate in favour of a more hopeful spring. It felt so ordinary, except that Nintendo felt the need to drop a direct to let everyone know more about some of the games that were due to release during that year, with the highlights being Kirby Star Allies DLC for Splatoon 2 and Undertale coming out on the Switch. That's still very strange to me. Exciting stuff for sure, but nothing too insane, something that I remember noting at the time while live tweeting the Direct, claiming that we are not prepared for what comes next. You bet your fucking tits we were not prepared, because Nintendo followed up the Splatoon 2 DLC with this weird mirroring of the first ever look at Splatoon 1 from 2014's E3 that immediately seemed a bit strange because we've kind of seen this before, and wouldn't you just know it, it is strange because now it's Smash Bros and the Splatoon squid seem to be invited or just consumed by the fiery logo and the massive characters in front of the logo, and holy shit! This means that Smash Bros is coming to the Switch, but we haven't got a name for it, so is it a new game or is it like an expanded port like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? I don't know, but this became the talking point across the internet for a good few months as Nintendo casually dropped a huge nugget of information without revealing some crucial details like a name or a general release window. And this is what works so well with both Smash Bros as a franchise and Nintendo Directs as a means of communicating game reveals with the general public, because I think Nintendo are fully aware of how much fan speculation there is on their biggest video games. We don't need much to go on before our minds run wild with possibilities and theories that power content that spreads across the internet like wildfire and does most of Nintendo's marketing for them. Just look at Breath of the Wild 2, we've had one trailer since 2019, but people have picked those 90 seconds apart and analysed every frame to find hidden meanings or evidence to support their own fan theories for whatever direction this sequel is headed in. Smash Bros on the Switch was always likely to be huge regardless of the form it took. This teaser simply lit the fuse. And it didn't have long to burn. Okay, so we're finally ready to talk about this trailer and why it's so incredible. I'm sorry that it took so long to get to this point, but something this perfect requires a heavy amount of context as to how circumstances had lined up so neatly and how much information needed to be conveyed by this trailer. The setting was E3 2018, and after 18 minutes of small potatoes and Reggie Fils-Aimé handing over the reins to Mr. Bowser,
I can't wait to drop off the battle bus.
Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai rode into frame with updates to help expand on that brief teaser trailer we got 3 months prior, with Mr. Sakurai acknowledging that fans were eager to find out who was making the cut in this latest game. What follows is an absolute masterclass in subtly raising the stakes, since before showing anything, Sakurai put up this little graphic with a number next to the character's name indicating the order in which they were added to a Smash Bros. Game, which is helpful, I suppose? Good for telling which characters are veterans and which are newer to the scene if you're unfamiliar with Smash Bros. Games, but generally speaking, it's not all that useful. We'll come back to that in a bit, don't you worry. The trailer itself starts with a brief overview of the battlefield stage to show off the updated graphical style and help kill off any lingering thoughts that this thing might be a port, before Mario leaps out the pipe and we're underway with the most important component of this trailer, character reveals. Mario is soon followed by Samus Aran, which makes sense in terms of the history of their respective franchises, but we jump from number 1 to number 4, and once Kirby at number 6 and Bowser at number 14 come soon after, you realise that these numbers weren't used to show the characters in any kind of order. Okay then, so what are these numbers doing here, and why? Why would it be important to know that Animal Crossing's villager is the 45th character? I mean, you can assume that if it's a larger number than what came before, you can kind of work out in your head which game they came from, but if that was the actual intention, they could just demonstrate which games these characters have been in or the one they debuted in. Don't worry, we're getting there. Roughly at the same time you're attempting to find purpose behind these numbers, this trailer is already working its magic, since Link is here, but he looks a little bit different. And hey, Zelda is here too, but again, she looks a little bit different, and I like to think of these redesigns as a tease of the trailer's big secret, a sign that things are happening that have never happened before in Smash Bros. History. Then comes the big announcements, ranging from relatively simple confirmations like characters from Smash 4's DLC returning, like Mewtwo, Lucas, Ryu, and Cloud, to the big news that Ice Climbers would be returning after skipping out on Smash 4 entirely. Again, subtle hints that something magical is happening here, you just need to connect some of the dots. Hidden in here is also our first look at Inkling in a Smash Bros. Game, which is nice to see, but only really serves to drive up that number to 64 now. These numbers are important, I just know it. Special mention to Cloud especially, because not only does he lead into this trailer's biggest moment, but I remember being surprised at the time that Square would let Nintendo use their most iconic character in their fighting game again. What does this say about Nintendo's relationship with third-party developers? And then this happened. So this is where I basically died? No, seriously, we got that recorded. This is where this whole trailer was leading to, where months of speculation climaxed in the single most satisfying way possible by making the entire crux of the trailer, the entire focus of Smash Bros. Ultimate as a video game, the fact that it's bringing together characters from every previous game for one ridiculous fan-servicey free-for-all. Every time we've got a new one of these games, some characters have been removed from the roster to potentially make room for new ones, and so all the speculation surrounding who exactly would make the final cut was done knowing that sacrifices would likely be made. So maybe we'd get one of the champions from Breath of the Wild but lose Toon Link, or a new Fire Emblem character in place of basically anyone but Marth. Or maybe we'll just have every character who's ever been in Smash Bros, including characters like Pichu and Young Link who were taken out after Melee and never looked likely to return. This trailer is the living embodiment of everything that people wanted from Smash Ultimate and more, as well as an early indication of how much of a wishlist this game would become over time. Suddenly, those numbers make a lot of sense because they wouldn't be significant enough to mention if every number wasn't used. Inkling is number 64, which is only important because now that's how many characters are in this game, and that's just insane! Also, revealing the Everyone Is Here tagline with Snake flickering into view shed a hopeful light on Nintendo's relationship with third-party developers and being able to negotiate deals for all of these characters to make their return. The Switch is a different ballgame for Nintendo and few games demonstrate it as well as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The first time I saw the Smash Bros. Tapestry pan over the huge array of characters that are going to be in this one video game, I knew that something special was unfolding and would continue to unfold for years to come. Which brings me nicely to something that isn't a part of this trailer, but was technically part of the same Nintendo Direct at E3, and you better believe that I'm gonna count it. Really though, everything Sakurai says about this game and the massive undertaking of including every character is nice and crucially important, but was never likely to have the same pizzazz as trickling information to the viewer like this. If anything, hearing Sakurai go into detail for a good 10 minutes shows how much has gone into this game, and will have to go into it to bring 60 plus characters to life, but still, this isn't what I want to talk about. If you ever needed a final confirmation of the direction that Ultimate was going in, a stunning CGI trailer that reveals Ridley as the second newcomer to this exciting new chapter in Smash Bros. History, put it up in lights and in giant letters that this one is a love letter to the fans. We've made jokes about Ridley for years, but now he's actually here, and it still is bizarre to me. Everything that fans ever wanted, every character you've ever wanted except you, and you, everything that you ever wanted Smash Bros. To be. But why? The decision to make Smash Ultimate into peak Smash Bros. Must have been taken early on considering the nature of including every character, and may have been contemplated during development of previous games, but there's a certain finality to this game that can't help but feel a little melancholic. This trailer is the best that Nintendo has ever done and will likely ever do for a Smash Bros. Game, because could you honestly imagine Nintendo topping this with a future Smash Bros. Game? The horse has bolted, the shot has been shot! Nintendo can no longer use the idea of a Smash Bros. Game having every character as an exciting selling point, because it's what we would come to expect at this point. This trailer being so incredible sets unrealistic, genuinely impossible expectations for any kind of sequel, and that's why I think there won't be one. There can't be one. This game isn't just Ultimate by name, it's Ultimate in terms of scale, and I reckon in the more literally Latin term, final. Sakurai and his team have backed themselves into a corner with nowhere to go other than to keep supporting Smash Bros. Ultimate and to keep adding new characters until the earth crumbles to dust, and I don't know, this can't help but feel a little mellow. It's arguably Nintendo's best move to support Ultimate for as long as possible, but what happens after that? How can you raise the bar when it's already so insanely high? When you've made the perfect trailer for the perfect setup for a Smash Bros. Game, where do you go next? I don't expect them to top it anytime soon, but you know what? I would love to see them try. Just make sure that Sakurai gets as long a rest as humanly possible. That man deserves the world and everything in it. Preferably before it's all added to Smash Bros. Hi, just want to give a quick shout out to some of my top supporters on Patreon. We have Ramon Alberto, Jerome Kiryu, Fusion Warrior, Sarah Malion, which I was misspelling, so that's definitely on me, Christopher Robinson, Joe Creamer, and Scott Riker. Thank you all for supporting what I do on YouTube, and if you want to join them, you can go to patreon.com/RabbidLuigi, where I post updates and behind the scenes footage, and we generally have a really good time. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.